Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Dynasty Queens. I'm your host, Pamela Nicole, and I've got my gorgeous co-host,
Nia J.
Y'all, we have a fantastic, phenomenal woman in the building today. We've got pastry chef and CEO founder of The Frosted Fox, Miss Jennifer Lowe. Welcome to the Dynasty House.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Welcome, girl. So pastry chefs, like what started your love for baking?
Oh gosh. So, like so many people, I grew up baking with my mom. And we had this one cookie recipe that we made all the time. And as I became like a teenager, my friends and I, we would watch all the cooking shows on TV. This was like kind of in the earlier days of Food Network. And we would spend our weekends like trying to buy stuff at the supermarket and try out different recipes. And we always went for the most elaborate things possible. So after college, I decided that I wanted to pursue cake decorating and to become a pastry chef. So I went to culinary school, and that's kind of where it all started. Yeah, exactly.
Was there like a matriarch in the family that had like a baking history or recipes that, trickled down generations?
Just a little bit. Like, honestly, our family really only had like one recipe.
Okay.
And it was for an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie from, I think, my like great-great-grandmother.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. So my mom would make it for like every single bake sale, every like school event. And like that's the only chocolate chip cookie I grew up with. So I didn't even know that chocolate chip cookies like usually did not have oatmeal.
Right.
So that's kind of the main thing we made. Other than that, we honestly didn't do a ton of other cooking. And so it was really more like when I was a teenager and I would get recipes from cookbooks and stuff like that, and I would start to try that out.
Gotcha.
That's really interesting because, we're talking about different types of chocolate chip cookies. You grew up with the oatmeal chocolate chip.
Yeah.
I grew up, my mama was like dark brown sugar with pecans and chocolate chips. That's how I grew up with chocolate chip cookies. What about you?
Just regular old chocolate chip. And my grandma was good on like banana pudding and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So it's interesting, like different, family recipes that are passed down and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually something that comes up in the shop is like the people who want nuts in their cookies versus like not nuts in their cookies. And it's like really interesting to see like what the different like cultural demographics are, people who like grew up with different like variations in their baked goods.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's definitely something to think about because you don't really think about the cookie having so many different components to it, but I imagine adding oatmeal to a chocolate chip cookie. That sounds so good.
It does.
Yeah. I'm going to try that.
And we do also, of course, make like kind of the traditional like Toll House recipe as well, just for like purists. So you don't have to get an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
And of course we also make like kind of your more traditional like oatmeal raisin.
Okay.
Nice.
And we even do a double chocolate chip with sea salt. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's sweet and savory.
Like a savory and sweet situation.
Absolutely.
So what was your like go-to snack growing up as a child?
Oh gosh. My family, we had like so much junk food in my house all the time. My parents are both doctors, but we had just like junk food constantly. So I feel like our family snack was always like Lay's potato chips with bacon horseradish dip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll say a lot of that. Popcorn,
Oh, yeah.
honestly more like salty snacks than sweet snacks, which is a little ironic, but
She just gave me like the most nostalgic moment too with the savory and the sweet.
yeah.
My godmother actually used to make popcorn balls. I don't know if y'all are familiar. It's steamed syrup. It's like a deep dark cane syrup. You can get it on Amazon, but she would just form these balls that she'd make like fresh popcorn and then just like put them in saran wrap them and just let it like solidify.
Like a candied
Girl,
ball, like a candy apple type situation.
yeah, like it was
Gotcha.
that just gave me like so much nostalgia.
Yeah, was that like a seasonal item that she did, like for holidays, or she just did it all year
Just
round?
whenever she had a knack for it, and then come to find out as she got older, she was allergic to popcorn.
What?
So she completely stopped making
That's
it.
a nightmare to be allergic.
Isn't that awful?
It is. Imagine like your favorite snack, like I can't eat this.
know?
Got to get to sneeze. So, okay. So after you said you went to culinary school.
Yeah.
So how did you get into like opening your own business and going into, really the baked goods industry?
Yeah, good question. So I went to culinary school for pastry. So that's kind of where you lay the foundation for everything. And when I went there, I knew I wanted to eventually own my own bakery, and I wanted to focus on making custom cakes, like wedding cakes and specialty cakes.
Okay.
So you don't really do that right out of school. So I went and worked for other bakeries and other like chocolate shops and things like that, just to kind of like get more experience. And then around the time I turned 30, I kind of was like, I should start really trying to focus on this goal I had of trying to open a place. So I talked to my husband. He kind of got on board with me, and the two of us like worked really hard for like a year and a half to try to start figuring out how to open a bakery in our neighborhood. So we were able to do that, and it's been like almost 10 years, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
But it was helpful that I had experience in a pastry chef position for other places. That kind of taught me the day-to-day operations, and also like managing some staff, and a little bit of like the back office business kind of stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, you have such a unique name to your bakery. Can you tell us, where you came up with the name The Frosted Fox?
Oh, sure. So that's a really popular question. We get that a lot. So our Frosted Fox cake shop, it kind of comes from my love of the movie and the book Fantastic Mr. Fox. And that movie came out around the time that I got married, and it was sort of an unofficial theme at our wedding. So later, when I was trying to think of names for the shop, I really wanted something that would have some alliteration to it and would sound really cute. And that's kind of what I came up with. And around the time that we were opening our shop in this area, wild foxes actually started showing up in this neighborhood again, in this like Philadelphia neighborhood. So it felt like a sign, sort of.
Yeah. The fox is there, so why not just exit the official name? What are some things that a person that's going into business, in this type of business, because you kind of briefly touched on, the overhead and more, administrative type of employees. What are some things that you did not expect? Like at least 3 things that you were like, wow, I thought I prepared.
Oh gosh.
But I was not ready.
Okay, let me think. So I definitely think one of the bigger challenges I have has been finding really talented people to work with me. And I'm very fortunate that we've overall been had really wonderful people come and work on our team. But it's really difficult to find those people, and it's for me, I struggle with, once I have someone, really wanting to make sure that I'm giving them as much as I can, both in terms of wanting them to give them the best income they can have, wanting to give them the best life work balance that they can, because the food industry is really rough. So I tried really hard to make sure that people have the time off they need, have vacation that they need, have sick days that they need.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's tough. Staffing is tough.
Okay.
What else? Honestly, I struggle a lot with just feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, which I don't think I really expected, that kind of imposter syndrome. So, even being invited onto something like this, I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. So that was something that I wasn't really prepared for. I didn't think that I would have so much imposter syndrome as I actually ended up having. And I don't know if that's also part of being a woman entrepreneur. I don't know if men struggle with that as much as I think a lot of women do. Oh gosh, and a third thing, probably just the work-life balance is really tough. I'm a mom now, and it's tough because in my particular field, you're working so hard during a lot of time that other people are not working. And I knew that because I was from this industry, but I had never had kids before, and so it is tough to be okay, well, here it's Thanksgiving and we're going to work for 18 hours a day for the full 10 days leading up to Thanksgiving, and meanwhile the kids have special things at school that I'm missing, and
during holiday.
So it gets tricky, but we're trying to work through that and make sure that we're there. And I'm fortunate to have a great team that lets me duck out and go to the play, go to something, that kind of thing.
Wow. Absolutely. Never thought of about that part about ever.
The parent life.
With that, with industry. Because holidays is when a lot of industries are down, but that's when yours is up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And kids have plays and stuff, and all kind of school out and everywhere. Well, that's all kind of stuff happening.
Yeah, and even just every single week, I work every single Saturday, which means that every single Saturday my kids are with grandparents. So it's so cool for them that they have that relationship, but really, my husband and I, we only have 1 day off a week with our kids, and I don't think that's super common. So it can be tough.
Now, how do your kids feel about the bakery and everything? Are they involved in any aspects of creating new desserts or anything with you, just to make it more interactive as a family?
Yeah, so not yet. They're 8 and 6, so they're not really quite at the point where they are helpful. Eventually, I'm sure they will be. But right now, they don't spend a ton of time at the shop. They'll, have the odd day off of school where they'll come and hang out at the shop. And my 8-year-old, especially, like Evelyn, really, really wants to help customers. And so sometimes if we do events like, street fair or something like that, they'll help a little bit. But it's a little tricky. They're not quite old enough to really give them responsibility yet, but I'm sure they will. And I know at least like amongst all their classmates, they're like a little famous for having like parents with this bakery. Like people call it, my son's classmates call it like Hudson's Bakery, and they're all excited to go to Hudson's Bakery.
So that's precious. Now, speaking of like your kids and their fame to the shop and everything, can you tell us a little bit about your experience on Netflix Sugar Rush?
Oh, absolutely. So I was one of the competitors on the first season of Netflix's Sugar Rush, which was a cake decorating competition show, and it was individual episodes. So my friend Perry and I were both on a team together for one episode, and it was a really interesting experience all the way through. So I don't know if people really know much about the casting process for a cooking show like this, but there's basically like a casting call, and you talk to people on the phone, you film videos, you get interviewed, and every step of the way they're asking for more and more. And we got selected to be alternates on the show.
Oh, wow.
So we weren't sure if we were going to be on it, but we had at least passed those like initial stages.
Right.
And somebody must have like failed their like social media background check or something. So we got put on the show.
Got bumped up.
Yeah, got bumped up, and it was really fun because they flew us out to Burbank, which is where we filmed.
Yeah.
And we were there for like 3 nights, and the process was like a couple of days. So that day 1 was like filming interviews, which was exciting, but we were so nervous. And day 2 was like a long, like 12-hour day of like just shooting the actual competition.
Right.
And it was interesting because there were some things that we like kind of knew in advance. Like we kind of knew what themes were. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen. We had some idea of like, okay, there's going to be like this one type of challenge, another challenge in the middle, and then like the cake challenge.
Right.
And the format was you couldn't lose a round or you got kicked out.
Yeah.
And we like actually did really badly on our first round. Like I thought we were gonna get kicked off. We were really we misjudged something, so our cupcakes like didn't bake properly. So we like rushed to try to bake them again, which meant that we lost a lot of time.
Yes.
But at least we had something, which was good then. So we managed to get past that first round by like the skin of our teeth, but we were behind everyone time-wise.
No, I see.
And then on the second round, we like knocked it out of the park, and suddenly like we won the second round, both timing-wise and in terms of like what we made. Yeah. So we got into the final round, and I can spoil this from like years and years ago. Yeah. We actually won our episode, which was so exciting. We couldn't believe it. And I was so nervous. Like the whole time I was like murmuring, like trying to calm myself down under my breath. But it was really
good, girl.
It was really cool.
Did that give you like some notches on your belt when it comes to like the baking world? Like they were like, oh yeah, that's the girl from Sugar Rush. Like, oh yeah, she's the one to watch out for, man.
So I do think so. Like I do think that when people hear like, oh, you're on a TV show, like it definitely gives you some credibility. Especially that we won our episode. It was like, really exciting. It is so different though, like baking, like doing something in a weird time crunch like that. Yeah. So the cake we made, I thought came out really well, but it's definitely not like our best work.
Right.
So, so I do think it's a good example of what we do, but not like necessarily like the best example of what we do.
We get it. Yeah. So for those watching, if you want to scroll back and watch that episode, look, she was in a time crunch. When you go to Frosted Fox, they're going to take their time, their care, you can get what you want.
It's not the same. I mean, it still looks like quite good, but like to me, as a creator, I look at it and I just, like I see all the things, but I don't know like your average viewer does.
How important is it, like, when you're doing competitive cakes and stuff, the imagery and then also the taste? What, in those type of competitions, what are the judges really looking at overall?
Sure. So for my show in particular, they were doing both. They were looking at both the taste and the design.
Okay.
And I felt really strongly about what we made, but and our design, if you watch our episode, the people we were competing against, they had a really tough time. So their cake was like pretty... It's very rough looking.
Oh, sorry, guys.
one of the judges really preferred the flavor of their cake, and they said our cake was too chocolatey.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you can really have something that's too chocolatey. Right. That was the feedback one of the judges gave us.
Yeah.
So I was nervous that even though our cake looked a lot better, that maybe they would prefer the flavor of the other one.
Yeah.
So it is really important to have both. And
right.
That's true, obviously, having a bakery. Like, you can't just have something that looks nice and tastes terrible because people won't come back.
That's very true. Now, as far as cake design, like just being so intricate, what is your favorite design you've ever done? And then what is the longest amount of time it's taken you to design a cake?
Gotcha. So, right now, one of my favorite things to do is a style that's kind of like palette knife painting. Oh, okay. So it's sort of like using spatulas and things to apply icing to the side of the cake like you're painting. And you get these really beautiful petal shapes, and you can do really cool, either you can do really like abstract designs, or you can do like actually really cool like quasi-realistic looking flowers and things like that. So I really like that style. It's a lot of fun to mix the colors for that. So that's something I really enjoy doing now. And then I also really like the vintage like Lambeth style that's on here now. That's gotten very popular right now, so we do a lot of those. But that's fun because that's something that I really did not do when I started out because it was not popular at the time.
Okay.
But now it's come back and it's been refreshed, and so those are a lot of fun to do as well. The cakes that take me the longest are like the sculpted cakes. So like a cake that's made to look like a car or a dog or something like that. Those are definitely the ones that take the longest. Or like even a sneaker, they take the longest because there's just so many steps to like you're like, okay, I have to carve into the shape. It's like, now I have to ice it. Now I have to get the fondant on it. Now I have to put the details on it. Now I have to keep putting details on it. And they can take a really, really long time. So they're the ones that give me like anxiety. If I know I have one like in a week, that's the one that I'm like dreading.
Yeah.
But they always are really exciting, and people get so excited to see them. So they have a really good like return on investment when customers are like so excited to see their cake that like looks like their cat or their dog or whatever.
I mean, that has to be really nerve-wracking because you have one shot at something like that. Honestly, if the order's due at this time and then, I mean, you can't drop it in transit or it starts melting or anything can happen, Exactly. So I can imagine. But you're a professional. So it's just like, I got that in the bag.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's like opening a new bakery, what is like the standard that you need to know as far as like design is concerned? Like just a standard design for a cake.
Like what are like the most? I would say you definitely need to know the basics. Like you need to know how to put icing on a cake like quickly and effectively.
Okay.
Today I would say you'd want to definitely be able to pipe a couple different types of icing flowers. You want to be really comfortable with a piping bag doing different types of borders like that vintage piping. But there's also a lot of like really wild designs that people are doing now. I think it's important to kind of try to find like what your point of view is as a bakery and like what your style is as a bakery. And that can be what you showcase, but you should also try to be comfortable doing like other approaches, because at the end of the day, while you will have some say over what you're doing, a lot of the time you're trying to execute what the customer wants. So they might want a different style that you prefer to do.
Yeah.
I would definitely say like it's hard. Like that's when you were asking me earlier about like surprises. I didn't say this because it wasn't really a surprise for me, but I think a lot of people who are transitioning into owning a bakery, maybe they came from the corporate world, maybe they had a different field beforehand. I think a lot of people think it's just going to be fun all the time to own a bakery. And a lot of people, I think, really don't take into account how much hard work it is. And, there are times I fantasize about having like a 9-to-5 like office job because it is so hard. And I think a lot of people who love doing cakes as their hobby maybe haven't totally thought through how different it is when you're doing it as your job and your main source of income. So that's something I think like if you're planning on opening your own bakery, like really sit with that and make sure that like you really do want this to be your job.
Absolutely.
Today's episode of Dynasty Queens is brought to you by Drip Top, the newest, hottest trend in fashion. You guys, if you love fashion, being a trendsetter, looking your best, you can have it all in the palm of your hand. This Drip Top app is what it's about. fresh trends in fashion, please believe me, we know what's up. Whether you're into streetwear, the chic style, it doesn't matter. You can be going out a night in the town. We got you. Make sure you check us out. Browse this app. It's at just the drop and click of the tap of the screen. Let's roll. Drip Talk.
And the best part of it too is it's not just about discovering new fashion. It's about the community. It's a full-on community. So you can follow your favorite content creators. You can get tips and tricks to your fashion, whatever you want to do. And on top of that, you can level up your style.
Right.
It's a great thing. So y'all go ahead and download the Drip Talk app. You can get it on Google Play and the App Store, Apple Store. And go ahead and look it up. It's Drip Talk, DRIPTOCK, and level up your style today. Also, go ahead and visit the website at www.driptalk.com, or you can go ahead and scan the QR code right here on our screen. Y'all, don't forget, stay bold, stay fresh, and stay all together with Drip Talk. Now, I did have a question. I've always wondered, in the food industry, and especially you as a baker and a pastry chef, how was it transitioning from COVID and then getting back into
oh my gosh,
regular times, if you will?
Yeah, COVID was obviously wild. We here in Philadelphia actually closed our bakery for 2 or 3 months because the city's guidelines were so strict about who could operate. Now, I do know of places that stayed open because they said that they were necessities, which I felt weird about that because I didn't want my team to feel a lot of my staff were very anxious about the prospect of getting COVID, and they were I didn't want to be the reason somebody got it and got hospitalized. Back then, you didn't know. So we did close. And fortunately, everybody was able to get things like the unemployment assistance, which was really good. And then I was able to access things like the PPP loan and different grants that the city offered or the neighborhood offered. So that really helped us. And I was fortunate that everybody came back when we were able to reopen.
Yeah.
But we really changed the way we worked. So we actually did curbside service for a long time where people would come to the door and we wouldn't let people into the bakery. And that sounds kind of crazy now, but at the time it was
normal.
Yeah. So, and we did that for a really long time because in our neighborhood in Philadelphia, the vibe was that people were very afraid of COVID. Yeah. So we really, we wanted our customers to feel comfortable not having to come in.
Yeah.
We masked for a super long time. We were cleaning all the time, doing everything we could. And it was interesting because certain parts of the business were obviously way down. Weddings dropped off. There were no weddings whatsoever. Wow. There were no big party cakes. Big events were just gone.
Yeah.
But what we found and what really helped us was that people were kind of compensating for that. If you were buying your 12-year-old birthday cake and they couldn't have a party, you were trying to make it extra special. So we were doing lots of little cakes, but they were very elaborate and very special. So that was nice. And with weddings, we were doing all these micro weddings where they were teeny weeny little cakes. And then in 2021 and 2022, it kind of rebounded because a lot of those people went on to have a bigger reception later. Yeah, those were actually crazy busy years. Yeah, those were actually the busiest years we had for weddings was 21 and then some of 22.
Yeah, because that is a sentimental type of industry, baking. So I can understand how, but that's really cool. So you guys actually kind of thrive because you have
we were fortunate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, I know we mentioned carrot cake is one of your top sellers.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just give us a list of all the different kinds of cakes that are also trending and popular that you have at your shop.
Yeah, absolutely. So our most popular cake that we make is our triple chocolate cake. So it's devil's boot chocolate cake, chocolate mousse, and then chocolate frosting. Okay. That one is really popular. That's probably our best seller.
Oh, nice.
Then we have a lemon cake with lemon curd and cream cheese icing. That one's also very popular.
Oh, that sounds good.
The carrot cake with cream cheese icing. So I love that one. People don't tend to get that one as much, but we do these little cups in the shop that are kind of like the piece of cake that we cut off when we're trimming the cake. And sometimes those are carrot cake, and people come in for those, and they are so upset when there's not carrot cake. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's all these diehard fans, and I feel so bad for them because there's probably there's probably like 20 people that come in every week and they're like, oh, do you have the carrot cake? Because they don't want the whole cake. They just want like the little cup.
Yeah.
And because we don't make as much of the whole cake, we don't have as many as the cup.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's on demand. Carrot cake.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then one of my absolute favorite flavors we do is actually a passion fruit curd, which is so good. It's like a lemon curd, but it's not as sour. I really like it. It's a really good one.
Sounds so good.
There's a lot of really exotic flavors.
It is.
How have y'all seen on TikTok the trending cakes now, the little beautiful desserts as they call them? Are y'all on the trend with the little realistic cakes that look like fruits and different objects?
So we've done some of those realistic cakes. Those are really funny to make. We don't tend to do like the teeny weeny ones.
Okay.
But we'll do things like a sneaker that like looks a lot like a sneaker and then could cut into it.
Cool.
That is really
cool. I mean, a lot of the people who do that content, like, it's weird because you have to make such a small cake to start with. I feel like that it's not really like you wouldn't really be able to sell it, but it's such cool content.
Yeah.
But we get a little bit of that, but not as much of that, just because people want bigger things usually.
Gotcha.
And it's probably more so for like a visual, just like a, because there's really not going to be too much taste behind something like that, right? It's more so.
Yeah, it's like a lot of icing.
Because I've seen somewhere it's like a package of meat, like from a, supermarket, and it has like the stamp on it and everything. And I'm like, and ground beef inside, but it's a cake.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is crazy.
It's all fondant.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of fondant.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah. Now, how is it? I know it's very moldable, but I know every baker's different. Is that one of your favorite things to work with, or are you not really a fan of it?
So fondant is interesting. So I recently had to change brands of fondant because I just haven't been able to get the fondant that we use. Like, I don't know if it's something with like importing or what's going on.
Yeah.
But I've worked with this one brand for like 15 years and now I can't get it, and I miss it so much because it was so easy to work with and it was so good in humidity. And it just felt different when I was working with it than the stuff that I can get now, which is I'm getting used to it, but I don't like it as much. It's like stickier and it's like stretchier. There are just things about it that are not as good. You can tell the difference. Yeah. And then also flavor wise, I feel like what we used to have was like a really good flavor. And fondant, a lot of people know fondant has a reputation for not being that tasty. Yeah. So the stuff we used to get, like, I really felt firmly I could be like, no, it's fabulous, like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The stuff we have now, which is what most people in this country use, it's fine, but it's not my favorite. And we roll it out really thin, so you don't get a lot of it on there, and you still get buttercream and like real icing underneath it. But it is a little different than it used to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like some bland stuff, but y'all are putting a little touch on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Flavoring that of which makes sense.
Yeah. And there's certain styles that you have to use fondant, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't need to use fondant for. So we probably do most of our cakes where it's just buttercream and then maybe some fondant decorations, but it does not have to be covered in fondant.
Right.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. So I was going to ask, because I mean, obviously this has some artistry involved, right? So I know that you started baking and everything. So where does that creativity, where does that come from? Did you draw or paint growing up, or do like crochet or what? I was sure you know that you're going to be able to correlate, because sometimes when you bake cookies and stuff, you don't have to make it pretty, but you're doing this whole thing.
Yeah.
So how did you know you could do that?
Well, I do think I've always been like artistic leaning.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily like an artist. Like, I don't necessarily have like a point of view I'm trying to get across, but I've always been good at drawing or painting, like in class and school. And I was lucky to go to a school that really had a strong art program. So I always took art classes, everything from just your basics up to like photography.
Right.
And when I went to college, I went to like a traditional college first, and I took art classes there. Like I did drawing, and I did like printmaking and things like that. And my parents are both artistic. Like, my mom is very artistic in terms of writing. My dad's a very good drawer and illustrator, so he illustrates. So I would say my family's like pretty artistic.
So it's in your blood.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow.
And in culinary school, you don't really learn a ton of decorating, so a lot of it's just been like hands-on learning, and just like practice and practice and practice.
What's like the most difficult? I know you mentioned earlier making sure you do like the little flowers and stuff. What's something, I guess, the first thing that you got to learn how to do? And then what's the hardest like petal or flower or thing to make.
Yeah. So I had to practice doing buttercream flowers for a really long time. And that's just like things like roses and peonies and dahlias. Yeah. And I was not very good at them for a long time. And then I started seeing some people who were doing a style based out of Korea where the icing looks like really translucent and more realistic. So a lot nicer than like your average supermarket rose. Yeah. And I was actually lucky enough to be able to take a course with one of these women that's like phenomenal at it. Yeah. And that was really a turning point for me, was to be able to sit with someone who really was like a master at this and have her be able to give me like to angle my hands slightly differently, and show me why did mine not look like hers. And now there's so much online that you could probably, like if I were to watch a video, I could probably figure it out. Right. But at least to begin with, it's really helpful to have someone who can actually be there with you to correct you and like tinker with what you're doing. And then the other really challenging thing is probably making sugar paste flowers. So that's like those bigger flowers that look more realistic. And with that, you're not piping it with icing. You're using like sort of almost a dough type icing that you're rolling out and you're cutting shapes and then you're attaching them almost like if it was like ceramic. And it's just a different approach, but like they're both really fun. And it's nice to be able to have both of those in your repertoire.
Yeah. Yes. And then she went to master. Like a lot of people are just like, you know what, I'm going to just YouTube it. No, she said, I'm going to the lady who knows how to angle your,
just like in modeling and everything, angles is, crucial.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, you did mention art and, being artistic. How important is color theory with baking and decorating?
Yeah, I think that's really important because it's something that you really have to get comfortable with, is like knowing why two colors look nice together and why they might not look nice together, and like what do you need to do to like make your green look a little bit nicer, for example, like because a lot of like colors, food colors and things like that, when you work with them right out of the container, they're like too, in my opinion, they're like too garish. Yeah. So you have to be able to like mute them and tinker with them. So having a knowledge of color theory is really important. Even just knowing like, okay, knowing the color wheel and being able to say, okay, well, my blue is too bright, I should add a little bit of orange to it, or like whatever you need to do. That's something I learned when I was a kid, and I think really does help me a lot, because getting these different shades, it is really important, because you can do a gorgeous cake, and if the colors are off, it's like a little, you can not look so hot. And some of it's taste too. I mean, the reality is like, I might not personally prefer like vibrant colors, but if my client does, I have to make sure that I'm doing what they like too. So
absolutely.
And are you finding yourself having to like import, different ingredients a lot of the time because you want, that perfect taste or that, precise flavor? I know you mentioned earlier some of the things in the market are kind of not what they used to be. Are you finding yourself having to like really research for the good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I definitely have, like, my brands that I go to that I definitely know. Like, so there are certain food colors that I like, especially, like, certain icings that I really like. We do most everything from scratch at our shop. So almost everything we're baking is, like, just the way you might make it at home, but on a bigger scale. The fondant is one thing we don't make. So, like, I did have a really strong brand preference. And then there's also, like, a jam that we don't make, but I have, like, a really strong, like, we get this, like, jam from like Switzerland that's really good.
Yeah, I knew she was like a good stuff. You knew she was importantly stuff.
And it's nice because like a lot of like the local purveyors, like it's not that hard to get stuff.
Yeah.
But when it gets tricky, it's tough. Like for example, the fondant, like I don't know how to get that now, and it's like that's a bummer.
Oh man, jeez. It's so much to go into that, and that's just like the administrative part of it.
Right.
Now, as far as I know, you mentioned like passion fruit. Are you using passion fruit preserve, or are you actually incorporating fresh passion fruit into your cake?
So in that particular case, it is like a puree that we're using, so it's not fresh. But when we do other baking, like our pies and things like that, we are using like real apples and things like that. So at Thanksgiving, we kind of shift gears, and we're not doing so many custom cakes just because people don't really necessarily want custom cakes for Thanksgiving, but we do like hundreds and hundreds of pies. And our shop is very small, so for us to be able to do like 1,000 pies is like a big effort. But with our pies, we really are, getting in like 50 cases of apples, and a case of apples is like this big.
Yeah.
And we're peeling them all by hand and we're running them all. I mean, we're not exactly by, like we have hand
Still,
it's like really literally like doing it all. Same thing with pears, we're like doing all of that. When we do sweet potato pie, we're literally getting like a case of sweet potatoes in and we're like roasting them in the oven and then like peeling them afterwards. And yeah, so like it really is like really fresh. We're really like
Scratch bakery. So it's like so traditional, and I love that.
Yes. So you were mentioning that too. Like, are there any nonprofits that you give back to the community through baking?
Oh, gotcha. So we do a lot of donating like gift certificates and things like that in the area. We do a little bit of donating actual baked goods. So like if it's a group that's usually we try to stay like hyper local, so like we want it to be specific to our neighborhood. Yeah, we'd like it to be something that we actually are involved with. But we'll go and we'll like we might be the dessert for their fundraising event, or we might donate to their like there's a school program, like we might donate to like for all the teachers to have a treat, that kind of thing.
Right.
And a lot of what we do donate would be like gift cards for our like everyday cakes, so they can use those to raffle and hopefully like get more money for them.
Man, I just love this, like how you just built your business from the ground up. You did the research, you did the work, and you were on TV. Right. She's got some notches on her belt, guys. I just love it. Like, so what is in the future for you? Like, what are you working on now?
I mean, so right now we're just kind of like gearing up for like the next
wave like holiday, right? Holiday around the corner. Oh my god, literally.
I believe it's like mid-August. Well, it's not mid, but it's gonna be mid-August. So fall is usually our busiest time of year, just for people who are coming in for snacks, but also like events. Fall is the big wedding season here in Philadelphia, in my experience. And then we really gear up for the holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And right now we're really looking at kind of trying to retool some of our Christmas offerings to swap some things out from older like years and try to bring in some new ideas. So we're kind of working on that right now. Long term, honestly, we're just kind of chugging along. I like having one spot. I don't necessarily think I want like multiple locations, just because of so much of what we do is like very specific to like the specific individuals we have. So I don't necessarily want to have like multiple cake shops or anything like that. So for now, at least that's like not really something I've been thinking of, but just kind of enjoying it and having a good team of people and keeping people happy in the neighborhood.
And sometimes less is more. You see have a lot of these businesses, they branch out and you lose that quality. Yeah, you have quantity, but you lose that quality. So I'm there for you with the sticking to what you know and staying small, staying a small business. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I also have to ask, so if we come by, let's say we're like, hey, let's go on down to Frosted Fox.
Yeah.
What should we get?
Oh.
What would you recommend?
Well, okay, so are you like what kind of stuff do you like? Do you like chocolate stuff?
I love chocolate, red velvet, cheesecake, frosting, all the good stuff.
Okay, cool. And
then I like you said passion fruit. That's calling my name lemon anything for me. Some more of the sour, citrusy, cool type stuff.
Okay, so then we have a lemon bar, which is like so good. I've had so many people tell us it's like the best lemon bar in the entire city, and they're always like, I've tried a lot of lemon bars, and this is the best one. So I would definitely say lemon bar.
Ooh.
Also, we have our little scrapple cups, which are kind of like a cake in a cup. You guys know what scrapple is?
Yeah.
Like, so scrapple is like a breakfast food, and it's just odds and ends. So these are like the odds and ends of cake. So when we're making a big wedding cake and we have to trim them, we take those pieces and we put them in a cup with fillings. So there's like often we'll do like a yellow cake with passion fruit curd and cream cheese icing. That one's really good.
That sounds
delicious. The carrot cake is in there as well. Red velvet's really good. We do a lot of red velvet scrapple cups. Those are really good. Our chocolate chip brownie is really good too. That was our family chocolate brownie. Yeah.
It's like, you have to go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be bouncing off the walls, girl. Like,
I know a lot of bakeries, they cater to like gluten-free, ketogenic. Do y'all incorporate that as well on your menu?
Gotcha. So we unfortunately don't really incorporate in anything as far as like gluten-free. The main reason for that is our shop is so small that we just can't have like a dedicated gluten-free area.
Gotcha.
So, like there's just literally flour in the air in our shop.
Yeah.
So we can't really say that anything is like truly gluten-free. So we don't really do that style of baking, and we'll like recommend other places to people who need that. When it comes to things like vegan, we don't do any vegan baking ourselves, but we do carry a couple of vegan things from one of our neighborhood like bakery friend bakeries. Carries their stuff from like a local vegan bakery. And again, if someone was like, I want a wedding cake, but it's got to all be vegan, we would probably just refer
them over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That is really cool.
Look at you.
No. So where can our viewers find more information about you, like Instagram, social media, and then, of course, give us your information on the Frosted Fox
Yeah,
as well?
absolutely. So online, we're just at frostedfoxcakeshop.com, but our Instagram is Frosted Fox Cakes, and there's a little picture of a wedding cake in there. There are actually a couple other Frosted Foxes. You don't want them. You want Frosted Fox Cake Shop.
Gotcha.
On Instagram.
You hear that? That is the official one. Frosted Fox Cake Shop.
And then, we're on like Facebook, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you're in Philadelphia, we're in Northwest Philadelphia in Mount Airy, which is like a super cute little neighborhood. And we're right on Germantown Avenue.
Oh, you heard it first. Yes. Thank you so much for stopping by, Jennifer. We enjoy and appreciate you so much. You are really an inspiration, and I really appreciate you explaining the hard work and grit that it takes and the dedication to put into what you do. So we appreciate you, and I'm sure your local community does as well, because you're thriving, and that's why you're here on the platform today. So make sure you guys that you also subscribe, like, and then also comment. Let us know what you want to try from Frosted Fox.
Yeah.
And we'll have to follow up with you in the future and, check and see how things are going.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's so much fun.
Absolutely.
And in closing, I am your girl, Nia J, and I'm with my beautiful co-host,
Pamela Nicole.
and this has been
Dynasty Queens.